Hi. Okay, so if you're watching this, you're probably coming from my newsletter. So I've been wanting to do this ever since I came out with the newsletter, but I wanted to release a good amount of issues before I started putting videos in the newsletter. So I'm so excited. Okay, so now there's 3 ways you can consume my content. So the usual newsletter is going to go out every Sunday, except for this one because I have to release it a bit late. But it's going to go out every Sunday, and you can continue reading the video. The newsletter. Sorry, my lighting went out. You can watch it like for besties on FaceTime, or 3, you can listen to it like a podcast. So I don't know, if you have like 9 stops on your commute in the morning, put your girl on. Okay, so today I really wanted to talk about decision makings, and if you're somebody who's super indecisive, or vice versa, you're somebody who avoids making really big decisions until like the last minute, or 3, you're like always procrastinating for some reason, this is good. You should read it and you should watch it, okay? So normally let's back up a bit. When you're making a decision, some people like to weigh the pros and the cons of each decision and say, okay, this is going to be like this and this is going to be like that. So I have 2 things to choose from. And then you're normally thinking, oh my gosh, one of them might be the wrong decision and one of them's like the right decision, right? So then what happens after you select a decision, you might start getting into your head about it, and you're like, oh my gosh, was that the right decision? Oh my gosh, did I choose the right thing? Then you start thinking about the alternative. If you selected the other decision, what could happen? Would it be something better? And then you're stuck in this cycle of always thinking about what would have happened if you selected something else, right? So what happened if you're constantly doing that after every decision, it's going to be really hard for you to make decisions moving forward in life, because now every time a decision comes up, the weight is like 5 times what it should have been, right? Because you're putting so much thought in the aftermath, like in the post decision process, right? So there's 2 things, right? You make a decision, then either 1, you can regret it because you're like, oh, the other thing would have been way better, or 2, you can feel gratitude, right? And took it as a lesson, as, okay, this is what I've learned and it's great because now I can use all this knowledge for next time to make a more optimized decision that leads to my ideal outcome, right? So let's talk about the 2 feelings, right? So if you're feeling regret post-decision, you can't really accept those difficult emotions that come up, right? And normally the emotion is shame, because what you're doing is you're shaming yourself for the decision. You're feeding your own mind with, this was wrong, there's a better choice, why did I do this? Then you go into shame and berating yourself. It's not pretty, okay? So that's what happens with regret for a decision, right? But if you choose gratitude, which is towards, love and light, which I talk about very often, when you choose to feel gratitude post-decision, whether or not you had the optimized outcome or not, what happens is it makes everything so much easier, because you want to continue making these decisions because you're learning so much whether or not you got like the outcome you wanted. Because think about it, every decision you make, either 1, you got the perfect outcome, you got the ideal outcome or whatever, or 2, you learned something, or 3, you got some great outcome but not 100% to your liking. So any of these 3 things, they're great things, right? Either you learned something or you got some of your outcome that you wanted. And if you start thinking with the mentality of, okay, every decision I make, I'm going to feel gratitude afterwards for it. I'm going to be either really grateful that I got what I wanted, or I'm going to be really grateful that it taught me something so that next time I can make an even more optimized decision. So I know it's so much easier said than done, but basically gratitude is just accepting all the feelings that come up and then releasing it through gratitude. You will feel shame like the first few times that you do this, but if you find yourself saying, oh shit, was that the wrong decision, just cancel it out with, oh my gosh, maybe that wasn't the most optimized decision, but I'm so grateful because now I can take this and learn something even better for next time. You know, if you continue to follow through with gratitude post every single decision, you're gonna move through life, I don't want to say faster, but faster. Like, because if you're sitting here and you're complaining in your mind and shaming yourself and berating yourself, oh my gosh, that was totally the wrong decision, you're wasting like what? Sometimes like a good 2 days to 2 weeks thinking about a decision that could have been better. Like, life is moving on, whether you're moving on with everyone or not, right? So gratitude is just a good way to just sit down, feel everything that's coming up, and it helps you with the self-trust too. Because think about it, you're not gonna trust yourself to make any decisions if you keep coming back with shaming and berating yourself in your head, versus if you come back after every decision with yourself and you're telling yourself, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for everything that I've learned. You're telling yourself, Nancy, I trust you with whatever decision that you make. Every time you come back, I'm going to welcome it with gratitude and love. Now it makes me more excited to make every single decision that's going to come at me, right? Like, I'm so excited. Versus, oh my God, if I'm shaming and berating myself after every single decision, I would avoid decision making 100%. Because why would I want to go out and make a bunch of decisions if I'm just going to end up going through so much shame, right? So, the whole lesson here is just, when you make a decision, that's how like the cycle happens, right? The cycle of shame and decision making and then avoidant. So, decision, shame, avoidant, and it's just a cycle that keep going around until you break it by giving it a branch of gratitude, replace the shame with gratitude, and then the avoidance is going to go away. Then it's just decision gratitude. So the lesson is just be nice to yourself. Every decision is going to have a pro and con, so just take it and learn from it and move on. Life is already moving on with or without you. So, okay. The sun's going down. The lighting's gonna be really ugly in like 2 seconds. So I'm gonna go.